Welcome, guys. How y'all doing? Thank you so much for being here tonight. Um, you guys are the best. You know that. I love you guys. May God bless over all you. I got a story for you tonight. I'm just sending out a link to my good friend. Hopefully, he can come co-host this with me. But if not, we'll still do it without him. So a lady in a grocery store in the United States. I think it was a Kroger's or something you guys call it. I'm not from the USA, so we don't have those stores here. But long story short, she seen a what she described as a non-human entity. Very creepy. I see some comments in the chat. Jesus saves and rebukes all the fallen angels. Amen, Brian. That's so true. So, regardless of the horrible things that happen to us in our lives, um, always know that we do have an advocate with the Father in heaven, as it says in First John, and that is Jesus Christ. And you know what this always reminds me of is the story of how the demons chose to go into the pigs and actually run into the sea. So always remember, no matter how terrifying and I know they're terrifying because some people may not believe me, and that's perfectly fine. But I used to suffer really bad from sleep paralysis. And if any of you guys know anything about sleep paralysis, sometimes you see things. And I saw demons when I had sleep paralysis. I had sleep paralysis so bad that neighbors would call the cops on me because I would be so terrified from the demons that I saw during sleep paralysis that I would scream and yell, and I would be able to wiggle my leg and I would kick on the wall and try and wake myself up. And neighbors would call the police on me because they thought I was being attacked or murdered or something, and the cops would actually come. So I had it real bad until one day, this older couple, they were actually my landlords. They came home from Jerusalem one time, and they had this holy anointing oil with them, and they said prayers and laid hands on me, and they anointed me with the sign of the cross on my head with this oil they brought back from Jerusalem. And I don't know, believe it or not, don't have to, but ever since they did that, it stopped. Whatever they did, it worked because it's never happened again. I've had the odd sleep paralysis thing, like when I had my near-death experience, and afterwards I had a sleep paralysis episode, but I don't see the demons anymore. They don't ever since that happened. No more demons. So the point of this long story is I know how terrifying it can be to experience actual demons. And it's like a physical fear. It's very, very terrifying. So, with all that being said, just remember that Christ is greater than these things. And the whole point of the story is that if you remember in the Bible, these demons were so terrified and are so terrified of Christ and God that they would rather be put into pigs and run themselves off a cliff into the sea than face the judgment of Christ and go to hell. So that's how that's how much power he has over these things. Okay. Always remember that. We're going to watch this TikTok video of this woman, Scott, and we're going to get the full details in the video. It's only about, I believe the video, not very long, guys. The video is only half minutes long. She's going to tell you the story of what she saw. She's going to tell you the story of what happened. There's my brother, Kenny.
Hey, Nick, how's it sound out there?
Sounds good, brother. I'm just throwing my headphones on. How are you doing, Kenny?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I have a fish tank in the background. Hopefully that doesn't like bleed in. If
Nope.
it does, just let me know and I'll try to figure it out.
No, you're good, bro.
All right, perfect.
So before we get started, I was just telling these people what this is going to be. It's the story of a woman I don't have the grocery store in the States. It's called a Kroger's or something, Kroger Foods. I believe they're a chain in the United States somewhere, but she was at her local grocery store and she encountered what she described as a non-human being or a non-human entity. It had entirely black eyes, and she had a confrontation with this. We're going to play the video, Everybody watching on Facebook, you're more than welcome to join in the live chat. You see people on YouTube that I'm speaking to. Well, you guys can join in the live chat too, and all you got to do is leave a comment on the video. When you comment on a Facebook live video, it shows up in the live chat, and I can instantly read your comments. So if you guys would like to be a part of the show, just comment on Facebook, and I will see it as a live chat, and me and my friend Kenny will see it as a live chat. And to all you beautiful people that are watching on YouTube, thanks for being here. Please give the video a like and please share the video because that helps smaller channels like myself compete in the dreaded YouTube algorithm. So before we get started, I will very quickly drop the link to the Facebook page just so all you guys watching on YouTube can like and follow the page and I can throw you in the group. So yeah, Kenny, this lady was at her grocery store when she had this confrontation of this being, like I was telling you. So we will
Yeah,
play the. Yeah, it's
yeah. I'd
pretty
love to
scary.
watch the video. That sounds very interesting. I heard about that a lot lately. And yeah, it's very interesting. I never encountered anything like that personally,
Me
but
neither.
I would definitely love to see what other people have seen and try to listen to their experiences as well. And you said it happened in the States.
Yeah, up in the United States at a grocery store.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I never heard of. I heard of Kruger. I believe. I think they're more in the Midwest. I believe. I don't travel much out of New York, but I believe that's a Midwest store, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, guys. Without further ado, here is her story. It's not very long. After the video, we will talk about it as much as we can. Bring up some scripture. Go from there. So here we go.
There are beings that is walking this earth and they are not human. I just came from Kroger's. I just got off of work. I went to go pick up a few items, y'all. I go to the bread aisle. Now, the bread aisle is super long. I'm at one end of the bread aisle. There's a guy that's about three-fourths of the way down in the bread aisle. He got a cart. I got a cart. He's looking at me. And you know how you can see out your peripheral that somebody's staring at you. He ain't just looking, but he's staring at me. I kind of look his way. He's still staring. I go ahead and I get my bread. I go back around the other way because I'm going to the international aisle to get some pasta and some other stuff. While I'm in the international aisle at one end, this guy comes.
You guys can't hear the audio? Can you hear it, Kenny?
Oh, I hear it loud and clear.
Okay, someone in the chat is saying her mouth is moving, but can all you guys in Facebook and on YouTube, can you guys hear her talking? Throw up a one in the chat if you can hear her talking. I just want to make sure there's no audio issues. Everybody throw up a one if you can hear. Okay. Billy can hear on Facebook. That's good. All right. Well, I don't think there's any other audio issues. Okay. Everybody else can hear just fine. Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure, guys. Again, thanks for watching. Please give the video a like and I will resume it right. Roxy says no. Oh, that's because it's paused right now. Okay, so I'm going to resume it. Here we go. I'll bring it back a few seconds and we will start it again. I just had to double check and make sure the audio was okay.
Aisle. There's a guy that's about three-fourths of the way down in the bread aisle. He got a cart. I got a cart. He's looking at
I
me.
understand the volume's low. I'm sorry, but it's turned up all the way on TikTok. She's just a low talker, I guess. I can't do anything about that. So you guys will just have to turn up your volume and listen as close as you can.
And you know how you can see out your peripheral that somebody's staring at you. He ain't just looking, but he's staring at me. I kind of look his way. He's still staring. I go ahead and I get my bread. I go back around the other way because I'm going to the international aisle to get some pasta and some other stuff. While I'm in the international aisle at one end, this guy comes around and he's at the top of the same aisle. I see him still looking at me. Now, mind you, there's a couple of things that I need to get out of that aisle. So, the first part of the aisle, I grab what I need to grab and I go about midways down. He's at the other end. So, he's staring at me still. So, I kind of look at him and I go, like, how you give somebody that type look? He's still staring. So, I'm looking for what I'm looking for. I can't really find it because he's throwing me off because he keeps staring. Mind you, this man don't have nothing in his cart He's not even turned to look at any food. He's looking directly at me. By this time, I'm like, you know what? I'm not on it. I'm about to just stare you down. So I turn to look at him. Y'all, when I tell you, this man stared at me and his eyes turned black. Everything in his whole eyeball, not
Okay, that takes it to a whole new level, bro. Cause like I seen people in the chat say, "Oh, I've seen I've seen people with all their eyeballs black people get them tattooed." And yeah, there are some people that are stupid enough to tattoo the whites of their eyes. But this ain't it, dude. This guy's
Yeah.
eyes freaking turned black as she was looking at her.
See, that was the question I was going to ask you. That happened while she was talking to him.
Yeah,
So, yeah, okay, okay.
that's
That's where I
creepy,
was.
dude.
Yeah,
So
that's
she, unless she's lying, she don't look like she's lying. She seems pretty genuine to me,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's a sin to lie. So I mean, anyone that is believer of Christ, I don't think they would lie about something like this. She seems very genuine, and
Absolutely.
she's saying
I
the
agree.
guy's eyes turned black as he was looking at her. Now that is creepy. Now that brings it
Uh,
to a whole new level, bro.
That's exactly what I was trying to ask, and that brings it way, way up. A
For
whole nother level.
sure. Okay,
Wow.
let's finish it up here. Go back a few seconds.
this man stared at me and his eyes turned black. Everything in his whole eyeball, not just the pupil, but the white part turned completely black.
Wow.
He looked,
That's
he
insane.
said black, and then he walked away. When I tell you I left that cart sitting in that aisle, I didn't even buy nothing from
Oh,
Kroger's. I left out and I came home. There is stuff, there is beings that is walking in this earth, and they at the store, they at whatever, they look like us and everything else, but they are not human.
wow.
Yeah, that's
I
deep.
don't even know what to say.
Dude, that is terrifying, man.
That's intense. That really is intense. You know, I've noticed people that I hung out with that would take like angel dust and stuff like that, and that would
Yeah.
make their eyes turn black. And that was unfortunately back in the '90s on Long Island. That was like the thing to do then. I never really got involved in that, but
Yeah, I've never done that. It's like PCP or something.
yeah, it was like that was like a, and I mean, I even hear to this day, guys are still doing it. That was like the darkest thing in our town. And thank God I never got involved with that. But I would literally see, that's how we knew who was on what, because the minute they would take their sunglasses off, you see nothing but black. That's when
Yeah.
we knew. But for it to actually change in front of you, that's a whole different story now. So yeah, that wasn't somebody just, smoking up or had some type of hallucinogenic, because their eyes will stay like that. There's no in and out. It's either one way or the other. It's never like, but that blew me away.
I
Nah,
mean, not everyone's gonna believe it. I see one person in the chat that says don't believe, but like I ask you why? Like, why, Evelyn, do you not believe her? She seemed 100% genuine to me. Like, I don't know why anybody would lie about something like that, especially someone who is uh, professing and like, labeling themselves as a Christian and like supposed to be uh, someone who loves Christ and is walking in the footsteps of Christ and someone who is calling themselves a follower of Christ. I really don't see why she would lie about something like that. Like I've seen a lot of people who lie and make stuff up, bro, and I'm telling you, like that lady seems pretty genuine to me.
I agree. I totally agree.
Mhm.
What would she gain? I look at it like this. She has family members, she has friends, and you really don't get too much credit for saying a story like that. Usually it's the opposite, right?
I
You
mean,
know,
in Evelyn's case, sure, she could be lying, but I don't see it, bro. Like she looks very genuine to me. Like I could be wrong, obviously. I don't know everything, but
right. I mean, you have some people that mistaken things, like, some people are super paranoid. and everything to them is something crazy. It
Mhm.
could have been there could have been an explanation behind it.
I have
Um,
another video on from my channel that I made a few months ago of a man who's demon possessed who is confronted by a street preacher, and as soon as he like hears the word of God, you can just instantly see something in his eyes change, bro. His eyes
yeah,
like almost go black, and just the anger in this
yeah.
guy's eyes, bro. And I'm gonna play that video after here in a minute. So I have another video for us guys that I made on my channel a few months ago that's about demon possession. And this guy, I'm telling you, you'll see it in his eyes. You'll see the change and the anger he gets when he hears the scripture. But I'm gonna,
And
sorry,
yeah,
go
I can
ahead.
definitely add to that as well because I personally myself saw three of my ex-girlfriends possessed by
And
demons,
mind
and I just seen it with my own eyes. So, you know, there was more to that NDE. Like I remember I was telling you, like there's actually things that just it led to other things. It was really crazy, and I didn't really get it too much into it, on the last show because I mean
Yeah.
these things, there's so much to talk about. I've been through, but yeah, I would definitely love to see that so I can put my commentary onto it.
Well, this guys, this is Kenny, friend of mine, that's talking right now. He shared his crazy experience of his near death experience that he had when he was younger, partying. He got on a head on collision, went through the windshield of a car. All the paramedics around thought he was dead. He had a terrifying, insane NDE, near death experience. So if y'all want to watch that video and you haven't caught it yet, go to my channel, go to live videos, you'll see it there. And you'll also see my ND that I had just this last Christmas. My near death experience was also crazy, and a lot happened to me. And I give you the full testimony. I was in the hospital. I went code blue and quit breathing for almost 3 minutes. And I seen and felt and experienced things that just are insane. It was the realest feeling, the craziest feeling. You'll have to go and watch them. They're on my channel, and Kenny's ND is on there too. And I'm reaching out to other people. I've already got a hold of a couple people, and it's in the works to set up more near death experiences because now that this has happened to me, I want to hear more from other people. So if any of you guys watching have had an NDE, which stands for near death experience, please reach out to me. Get a hold of me. You can join our Discord. It's in all the links to my videos. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And we would love to hear your story. So
Absolutely, I'd love to hear it.
for sure. We're gonna watch part of this one more time just to see if she looks like she may be lying or whatever. And then I'm gonna bring up the video that I was telling you guys about, another video I have of a demon possessed man. Okay. So let's just watch this one a little bit again. See if there's any tells. See if she looks like she's BSing.
way, he's still staring. I go ahead and I get my that somebody's staring at you. He ain't just looking, but he's staring at me. I kind of look his way. He's still staring. I go ahead and I get my bread. I go back around the other way because I'm going to the international aisle to get some pasta and some other stuff. While I'm in the international aisle at one end, this guy comes around and he's at the top of the same aisle. I see him still looking at me. Now, mind you, there's a couple of things that I need to get out of that aisle. So, the first part of the aisle, I grab what I need to grab and I go about midways down. He's at the other end. So, he's staring at me still. So, I kind of look at him and I go, like, how you give somebody that type look? He's still staring. So I'm looking for what I'm looking for. I can't really find it because he's throwing me off because he keeps staring. Mind you, this man don't have nothing in his cart. He's not even turned to look at any food. He's looking directly at me. By this time, I'm like, you know what? I'm not on it. I'm about to just stare you down. So I turn to look at him. Y'all, when I tell you, this man stared at me and his eyes turned black. Everything in his whole eyeball, not just the pupil, but the white part, turned completely black. He
I
looked
don't know. I believe her, man.
scared.
I believe her too.
I really, really
Mind
believe
you,
her. I
I
mean, the
didn't
more I
even get
watch
to
it, I
grab.
really feel
Matter
like
of
I
fact,
even believe her even more.
sit
I
with me
really
for a
do.
minute. I didn't even buy nothing from
But that's
Kroger.
just me. I
I
mean,
left out
Mhm.
and I came home. there is stuff, there is beings that is walking in this earth, and they at the store, they at whatever, they look like us and everything else,
I believe her.
but they are not human.
I believe it, man. And I
And it's,
I don't
know
know what to say.
what's that, bro?
well, I was gonna say, look at the we're literally. I mean, you believe we're in end times, right? Uh,
Yeah, well, no, I don't believe we're in the end times. I think we might be in the birth pains. A lot of stuff has to happen first before we're in the end times. I don't know when that's going to happen, but we're getting
yeah,
close.
yeah. I mean, I'm the same way. I'm not saying end times as if it's like next year,
Hmm.
but I do believe that I feel in this case, I could be totally wrong, but this is what God's putting in my heart. We are one body of Christ, right?
Hmm.
The enemy knows who is who. Okay. So that might have been just a stare down, like so to speak. Like think about if you're enemies with someone,
Yeah, I
right?
was gonna say it like picked up on like a because demons and demonic things will purposely seek out people who are close to God and
Right.
attack them.
Exactly. That's exactly my feeling. And that they can only do that. They can only stare. I mean, if she was maybe a lukewarm Christian, maybe if she was even a maybe semi-warm Christian, maybe it would have been a lot worse. I don't
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
I'm not one to judge. I don't know, but I know if she was an atheist, that thing probably would have went and took her soul, or you never know. So I do believe that these things are walking around, and like it says in the Bible, what the Satan walks around like a roaring lion looking for the next person to devour, and it's
Right.
not just Satan, it's his army as well. So it might not have been that he was Satan, but he could have definitely been a demon, definitely part of Satan's army. I mean,
And a couple people ask
definitely
me, what
possible.
do I mean? Okay, we're at the brink of World War III. Well, there's been wars happening, rumors of wars and wars. There's been wars happening forever since Jesus' time, for
Absolutely,
thousands
100.
of years. A lot of things have to happen, medieval side quest. If you know about eschatology and the end times, the third temple has to be rebuilt. The
Yep,
the Antichrist has to reveal himself and sit on the temple throne.
yep.
Um, there's a lot of
Lot, a lot.
important there's a lot of important things that need to happen before we're actually in the end times. Okay, so like me saying I don't think we're in the end times, that's just my personal opinion. If you don't feel that way, that's fine. I think we're close. I think we're in the season. I think
Hmm.
indicators of the season that we're in the birth pains and it's beginning, but I don't think we're actually in the official end times yet. But that's
I
just
believe
me.
that too. Yeah, no,
That's
I
just me,
agree.
bro. But I will tell you, if you study eschatology, you'll see there's a number of things that need to take place before we can be in the end times. And those things haven't happened yet. So that's the only reason why I say that. And it also, with God, it says 1 day or 1 year is like 1,000 years. 1 day, so
Yeah,
it could be, or 1 day is like, I forget what it says. What is it? 1 day is, yeah, 1 day is like 1,000 years, it says to God.
you
Literally,
see,
one of
yeah,
our days is like 1,000 years to him. So, like, the end times are coming soon. Soon to God could be in 200 years, 100 years, 60
hmm,
years could be like a microsecond to him. So,
exactly.
the disciples thought that the end times would happen in their generation before they passed away,
That's very true.
and it
That's very
didn't
true.
happen then. So, I mean, how close are we? I don't know, because nobody knows. It says in the Bible, nobody knows when the end's going to come. Nobody. So, like,
Hmm.
I don't know, right? But I do know that there are certain things that have to take place before the end times can happen. And I know that those things haven't happened yet. So that's the only reason I say that, bro. I'll tell you, we're definitely in the right season and we're getting close. But officially in the end times, no, I don't think so. Not yet.
That's definitely a good way to look at it. I mean, I feel you 100%. I totally agree. Everything that you said,
I
100%.
used to. I used to think I was in the end times like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
But the more I studied eschatology and end time studies and biblical prophecy, the more I realized there's a lot of key things that have to take place before we can be in the official end times, right?
yeah,
They
definitely.
haven't even started building the third temple yet.
I
I mean,
believe they did. I think they're in the beginning stages, right?
they're trying. The
Okay.
the Sanhedrin and the council and everything in Israel is trying to get enough votes. There's like some Orthodox Jews that are really trying to get in on the votes to build a third. But one of the most holiest sites in Islam sits on the temple on the Temple Mount,
Right.
the old
Right.
temple. So they'd have to blow that thing right off of it for it to happen. And
Yeah.
like, there's, you
Very
know what I
true.
mean?
Very true. And I think they found the red heifer, the final red heifer, or was that debunked? I don't know if you know anything about that, because I know they were looking for the final red heifer to actually start the, what was it, the ceremony to
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
like the cornerstone of the temple. So once they find that red heifer, then they do the ritual and they lay down the foundation. The last I heard, they were at that stage. Now I haven't heard anything lately, but that we're going back now. I don't know, 6 months ago. So I don't know.
Anyway, I have another video I'd like to share, but first, we were talking about that lady and how we were talking about how these demons and everything can, walk around among people and not even know. And um, when we remember when we had these, we've had NDEs, so we know that there's spirituals and demons all around, but there's literally a battle for your soul at all
100%. Oh yeah.
going on around us at all times, right? So that's why, like, I don't understand why that is. I don't know why God and these people care so much, but he really does love you that much, and he really does care that much about you, that there is a spiritual warfare and a spiritual battle going on around us, guys, at all times. So
All times, 24 hours a day. They don't rest. We're the only beings that need rest. They don't need rest, even though it says in the Bible God did rest, but
when
not.
I had my NDE and quit breathing and was in the spirit world, I actually seen a battle happening. Like
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that.
when I was on my way to hell or whatever, when I was on this wide, broad, deserty road, I seen soldiers on each side of the road fighting, and they looked like it was crazy because some of them looked like ancient Roman soldiers from way back from that era, and others looked like modern soldiers from this day and age, and it was just really crazy, man. And I don't know why they were battling and fighting, but I
Hmm.
just got the sense that they're. You have to watch my whole ND because there's some parts that are really graphic that really emotionally stir me up, and I don't like talking about it. But just the whole thing was like a battle for my life and a battle for my soul, and it's really weird how there's billions and billions of people, and there's people, hundreds of people die, you know, every minute or something.
Every
It's like
every second, right?
I don't know about every second, but every minute there's like a couple hundred people that die. I'm not sure what it is,
Yeah.
but it's crazy. And there's literally a battle going on. He cares that much about one person that he gave me a second chance. I was getting led away to eternal separation from God. Anyway, it's a long story. You guys will have to go on my page and you can see my NDE and you can also see Kenny's. But let's just read this really quick, guys. And I'm going to bring up the other video that I was talking about that shows the demon possessed man. And I want you guys to look at the eyes because the eyes are super key. So this is Ephesians 6. A lot of people are probably familiar with this. And it says, starting at verse 12, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers and against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. So this is telling you right here that we are wrestling not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces in the spirit world, unseen places, heavenly places. It's not talking about God's heaven, it's talking about other places that we can't see. So when that lady in that video that we watched said that there's people walking around that are like not what we think they are, it's true. It's 100% true. And like Kenny was saying, it's never happened to me personally where I've seen some guy come up to me that was actually like a demon in disguise, but I believe her, especially after what I went through last Christmas year when I
Oh.
literally died and God appeared to me as a light and I communicated telepathically with him.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, some people won't believe it, but I know what I experienced. I know what happened. I was coded. I didn't breathe for 3 minutes. I seen the doctors and nurses working on my body. I seen everything. I knew I was dying. I knew there was a fight going on for my life. And yeah, it was crazy. It was really crazy.
Yeah,
And
those things
Kenny's was like
happen.
even yours. Kenny was even more intense. That Kenny had a really crazy NDE, man. It was
Yeah, it was. And
insane.
that's
Oh
why I
damn! I
thank
still
God
got
every day. To this day, I thank God that I'm still here, like, and, he didn't give me one, two chances. That's the sad part. I still was like a knucklehead even years later. I still didn't learn my lesson. It took literally a lifetime to learn. And I start tearing up when I think about that, because like you were saying, Nick, how who are you? You deserved it. That you can't describe it. When you're in that moment, you understand it. So that's why I know you understand it, because you've been through it. But you really feel so worthless to life. You feel like, wow, this is the creator of all things giving little old me a chance
yeah.
at another life or breathing. Who gets those chances? Who can really talk about these things that we're talking about right now?
Oh yeah.
You
I felt
know,
absolutely
and
worthless.
it does get emotional. It gets me. I'm right teary eyed right now. Because I know if more people, and I don't wish this on anyone, but I know if you had someone that was agnostic, someone that was even atheist, they go through that experience, they're going to be a full blown Christian. And if they're
Yeah.
not, then they need a brain check, because if that doesn't wake you up, then nothing will. I'm
And
sorry.
some Christians out there will say, "Oh, why didn't this ever happen to me?" I wish it didn't happen to me.
Oh, I get that all the time.
It's not a
All the
good.
time.
It's
That's
not a.
ridiculous.
It's not a good thing to like have this happen. Like the reason this happened is because I was living a lie. I was
Mhm.
almost in hell, guys.
Mhm.
It took me almost 20 years losing a finger in a street fight and dying almost and going cold blue in the hospital and almost in hell to
Yeah,
finally find God and feel the Holy Spirit and wake up. So like if this hasn't happened to all you guys that are Christians, it's a good thing. It just means that you're
absolutely.
probably on the right path and you don't need something like this. So I mean,
Yeah.
I am so grateful every day that God did that for me, and I cried and cried and cried after, and I felt when it was happening, I just felt so unworthy and so worthless, just like scum, like absolute scum next to him, and I could not understand for the life of me why he was giving me this horrible, terrible sinner, terrible husband, terrible
Hmm.
son. I just felt like a terrible everything. Like I just couldn't wrap my head around it, man. And I still really can't. Like his love is so strong that it's something that a human just cannot
That's
can't.
the beauty of our Creator. It really is. That is what it's all about when it comes to God. It really does. It's just an amazing, amazing thing. And I always think about, well, look what He did for us, right? He put Himself in a human body and said, I'm going to take the worst suffering known to mankind, be
Yeah,
nailed to a cross, be humiliated, okay, for the sake of my people. And all He asks is in return is for us to believe in Him, and there's really not much to it if you really think about it. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, it's hard, but it's if you just and that's the God we serve too. He's not asking for us to be Jesus, be perfect, just to try, and we're gonna fall, we're gonna stumble, we're gonna make mistakes, we're gonna keep doing the same stupid things over and over. And I speak for myself. I must have did 1,000 stupid things, and he still said, you know what? This is my son. This is my creation. I'm going to give him another chance. And here I am today, 49 years old. I have 6 children. Okay. Could you imagine if that happened to me back then? If I didn't get that chance, there would be, well, I think my daughter was around. I would have had 5 souls that never came into this world, and one lost soul, because now that soul never really knew their dad, because I was gone at an early age.
well,
You
I'm
know?
glad that happened to you, brother, and I thank you for sharing your NDE. Again, everybody watching can go to my channel, click on live videos. You'll find my
And I
NDE
really,
along with Kenny's NDE. They're both on there. We both of us have given our testimonies within the last 7 days. So you guys will not have a problem if you want to go watch it after this video. You can watch both of our near-death experiences on there, and they're
And
both.
thank you so much, Nick. I really appreciate you giving your platform to me because,
Oh, of course, dude.
I
I
really,
want anybody too. Anybody else that's watching that's had a near-death experience and wants to share it, and I encourage you to share it because God has given you this for a reason. When it first happened to me, it took me so long to process it. I was so emotionally distraught, and all my subscribers were really bugging me. They wanted to hear it. They wanted to hear it. They wanted to hear it, but it took a while to process it. But I realized that there's a reason this has happened, and I wanted to share it with as many people as possible because I don't want anybody to go to that place. I don't want my worst enemy to go to that place. Nobody. I don't want nobody to go there. Nobody. So
amen.
that's why I share this with people. And Kenny felt the same way. So, any of you guys that have had a near death experience, please don't be afraid to share it. Get a hold of me through Discord. The link is on pretty much all of my videos. And let's set up a time to hear your NDE. Okay, here, guys, is sorry it took so long, but we had some good stuff to say to y'all. Here is this other video that I made a while ago on my channel. This shows a near death. I mean, sorry, not a good experience. This shows a man who is demon possessed, and that's what I think. And maybe you'll think when you see it. Watch his eyes. Watch the change in his eyes. You can almost see his eyes just gloss over and go right black, just like that other lady was telling us. So here we go. We're gonna play it. Here it is. This guy's out street preaching. You might hear my voice a little bit because I made the video and I'm commentating in it. But this guy's out streets preaching, and this guy just comes across, hears him, and just evil look comes up to him, so angry. You see his eyes gloss over black. Watch. Rock you.
An only son.
Oh, wow.
Look at his eyes. Take a look at his eyes, man. Look at them just.
Wow.
I put the little words that pop up in the bottom, so read them.
I know your father. I know your mother. I know your grandmother before you. So don't play with me, all right? Neither.
That right there, guys, is very key what he said. I know your mother, I know your father, and I know your grandfather before you.
See?
Demons know that stuff, dude.
Well, that
That
kind of
is
goes back to the woman, right? If you think about it, that's what we were saying before with the woman. She doesn't know what, she's just being the Christian that we all were trying to be, right? And then we're being stalked by the enemy because they know us before, just like Jesus knew every little hair of us in the womb, the enemy knows us as well. So that really kind of goes hand in hand with the other video. There's a connection there.
that's key, guys. That when he says, I know your mother,
Yep.
I know your father, and I knew your grandfather before you, because demons will study you. They
Yep.
will study you. These things live for a long time. They'll study you and they will use things against you. They'll
Exactly.
find out what they'll find out everything they can about you, and they will use things against you. That's why they fool people in these fake hauntings. People think, oh, it's just my granddad or my dad coming back to communicate me. No,
No,
those
no.
are demons. People
Yep.
get fooled into trying to communicate with their lost loved ones through Ouija boards and all kinds of occult practices because these demons, they fool people. So that's why you pay attention to what these guys saying. This is a demon right here. He's straight up
Absolutely.
telling you, I know your mother, I know your father, I knew your grandmother before you. This is a demon that you guys are looking at. Go back a little bit more.
And look at his face. Like you could just see it in his face. Like that
Oh,
just
yeah.
gives me creeps, dude. Oh my lord.
I know your family name. You hear what he said?
I know your father. I know your mother. I know your grandmother before you. So don't play with me, all right? Neither one of you. Get off that mic and go away from here right now, or I'll make this nation rise against you. Do you understand me? Do each
Look
and
at
every
that
one of you
face.
understand me? Don't play with the God that runs this earth.
I will
Mm.
make this nation rise against you. Don't play with the God that runs this earth.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the God that runs this earth? Gee, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Satan, perhaps?
Mm-hmm.
The God of this world? Look at the anger in this guy's face. Look at the vein in his neck, dude. This
That's
guy,
something. Yeah, you can't act that, man. That's I don't care how much of a good actor you are. I don't care how drunk you are. Unless you're that drunk, inebriated that the demon is inside you and you have no control over your own body.
he's
But you
not
can.
acting, bro.
You're not.
No
Yeah, that's
way.
not. No way. Oh no, no way.
No normal person would say, I know your family name. I know your mother. I know your father. I know your grandmother before you.
I
Only
mean,
a
and he's literally a half an inch away from his face while he's saying it as well. I mean, that doesn't happen, dude. No.
Only a demon would say that. A normal person would not know to say, I know your family name, I know your mother, I know your father, and I knew your grandmother before you. That's something only a demon would say, bro. And then he's like, I will make this nation rise against you. Don't mess with the God of this world. Like,
Uh huh.
that's some crazy, crazy, crazy stuff.
Your family name. I know your father. I know your mother. I know your grandmother before you. So don't play with me, all right? Neither one of you. Get off that mic and go away from here right now, or I'll make this nation rise against you. Do you understand me? Do each and every one of you understand me? Don't play with the God that runs this earth. Now back away. In the name of Jesus.
Is
What
that
this man
David
says
Lynn?
is quite disturbing, but
Yeah.
just in case you missed
Yeah,
it
it is.
before I
Yeah.
explain
Yeah,
what this
you see-
man said. At the
Mm.
beginning of the confrontation, the man's eyes morph from small and normal to large and demonic. It doesn't even look like he blinks the entire time. The man says, I know your mother, I know your father, and I know your grandmother.
Hmm.
Since Satan has been observing humans for thousands of years, making the claim he knows the generational line of David Lynn's family should not surprise you. Then he says, I will make nations rise against you. Satan will do whatever he can to stop the gospel.
Anyway, this is a video I made a few months ago.
That's a great video. I'm surprised I didn't see that one. No, that's an absolute 100% truth. And I
Oh,
really
you
hope.
see how YouTube shadow bans me? This video
Yeah.
should have so many more views. It has like
Oh,
three or 400 views.
and I never seen it. I'm always looking through your channel, looking to new
Oh, yeah.
videos. I never saw it either.
Half of my subscribers are always telling me they don't get notifications when I upload. I've talked to YouTube like 3 times about it. They tell me it's not true. They're such clowns at YouTube, bro.
Sad. It really
Yeah,
is.
it is sad. But yeah, anyone that hasn't seen this video, go watch it. It's not under my lives, it's just under videos. It's called Demon Possessed Man Will Shock You. Yeah, that's a good one.
That definitely is a good one. Hey Nick, did you ever see that guy? He was like a ex Satanist. He was from like the Bronx, New York.
Yeah, I
Spanish
did see
guy.
that. I did see
You saw
that.
that guy, right? He was going around cursing the streets of the Bronx.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, that guy had me like, wow, because my family was from the Bronx, so it's like
Yeah,
I
that's
know
dope.
that place is dark. You know.
I can tell from your accent, bro. Look, here's another video I made 3 months ago. It barely has 600 views, dude. And I thought it was a pretty well done video. It starts off, I won't play the whole thing for you guys, but you should go watch it. But I'll play a couple parts, seeing how we're on the topics of demons. So
President of the United States can
I started it off like
openly
this.
talk about God, and
Joe Rogan's a straight Satanist, by the way. Anyone that doesn't know anything about Joe Rogan, he's as
of the United
he's
States
as satanic as they come. Watch how mad he gets when he says God.
can openly talk about God, and no one goes, "What is?"
Now watch this, guys. Watch this. I'll show you Joe Rogan from before he had hair. People are like, oh, no, man, Joe Rogan, he's good. No, he's not good. Check this out. I have to open the image in a new tab. Okay. There's Joe Rogan when he still has hair, standing next to Stanton LaVey, best friends with Stanton LaVey. None other than the grandson of Anton Sanders LaVey, the guy who started the Church of Satan and wrote the Satanic Bible. Here you see Joe Rogan wearing a shirt that says 666 with a giant Satan head on it, throwing up the horns of the devil, standing beside his good buddy with his arms around him, Stanton LaVey. Yeah.
Wow, I never seen that picture either. Wow, that is something else.
So
tell you.
Joe Rogan, satanic piece of trash.
Breaks my heart, man, because these guys don't know what they're getting themselves into. They really don't.
I suggest all you guys go watch this video. It's awesome. I
This
lay it
guy,
down
what are you
hard.
saying?
Check this
What are you
out.
saying? You think Jesus can
I'll show you.
You did
I
not
really like this guy, Paul Washer. He's one of my favorite preachers.
honor him as God or give thanks. That God made you for his glory, and you are not serving that purpose. You have sinned.
I don't care about your damn religion. I'm so tired of stop conversations about what
Some clips of people who mocked God's holy name and felt his wrath. This next guy that's coming up is the biggest shortly after. One of the biggest heretics that I've ever met. Wrath gets increasingly more severe as each video progresses. Brandon Robertson is this guy. He's a gay activist for the LGBT community and a self-proclaimed pastor and minister of God's word. Wait till you hear what he says, he is a blatant false teacher and a heretic. And wait till you see what God does, dude. He's telling these people, it's crazy. Before I show you guys what happens to him when he blasphemes God's name, here are a short few clips of his heretical teachings.
Spirit that gives life to
Wait
all
till you hear the crap he's teaching, bro.
people is the same spirit revealed in Jesus Christ, and is the same spirit that was at work through Siddhartha Gautama the Buddha, and is the same spirit inspired Prophet Muhammad. Jesus helped his friend.
I hate when they say things like this.
I already just said Jesus helped his gay friend come out of the closet.
Wow.
11. Verse 43.
He's using John chapter 11.
Jesus called out in a loud voice saying,
What a triangle in the background.
He already said, Jesus called out in a loud voice saying, Lazarus, come
out. You see, Lazarus was locked
He's literally talking about Lazarus coming out of the cave, dude.
in a cold, dark tomb.
With an Illuminati triangle in the background.
No, that's the Trinity sign.
Oh, is it? I got bad eyes. I'm sorry.
He's saying,
I got bad eyes.
He's saying Lazarus was wrapped up in a cold, dark tomb in a cloth, and he's
burial cloths left for dead. That's exactly what so many Christians and so many churches do to LGBT people. They wrap us up and bind us up and tell us that we need to keep our identity, our true self locked away.
He's trying to turn that into a metaphor for gay people coming out. Like, dude, that is so blasphemous.
Jesus, upon seeing Lazarus in this state, he says, Lazarus, come out. Step into the light. Take off the cloth. Be who you are. Come alive. I believe that this is what Jesus is speaking to every LGBT person. Come out of the tomb of shame. Take off the chains that have bound you up. Step into the glory of who God made you to be, fearfully and wonderfully made, just as you are. You know that there's a part of the Gospel of Mark where Jesus uses a racial slur. Jesus repents.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
I can't listen to this clown anymore, but watch this. Watch what God does to this guy, bro. This is like, watch this.
Woman's daughter.
The future of the church and of our world is truly in the hands of what Martin Luther King Jr. called the creatively maladjusted. Maybe minorities, sexual and gender minorities, have something to teach the church about dying to self, about new life, about...
No way.
Yeah.
No way. You can't make this up. No way.
That is not a sign of God's judgment, okay?
Yeah, it was, bud.
Wow.
A more clear sign if you couldn't write more clear sign.
I'm surprised I've never seen that.
This chick gets it so bad for mocking God too. Jesus publicly.
Brag, I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot,
Just
and
a loser.
I have the shingle shot too. Traveled, never got COVID. Clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice. So nice.
She suffered a skull fracture, but was deemed okay and released from the hospital. Short. Hey, yeah, man. Go ahead and blaspheme God, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't play like I never. That's one thing I never did, even before I was saved. No.
Go ahead and mock God, you funny comedian. This is what happens to you. She suffered a skull people say she was just faking it. No, dude, she went to the hospital, had a skull fracture. Look at her eyes. Fracture, but was deemed okay and released from the hospital shortly after.
I feel like if Jesus flicked you over, he would have given you a softer land.
Oh, yeah? This guy gets her so bad too. Distorts the view of God and his divine word. Look what happens to his church when he blatantly denies God's character and insults his perfect word.
Holy Mother God, for you
Mother God? Mother?
are more than any single description of gender or personality or role. You know, why are all those contradictions in the Bible? Well, because it was written down by people over a period.
No contradictions in the Bible. God's not a woman. You're a preacher. Let's see what happens to his church.
Bruce and Spencer just devastated after they were forced to watch their historic church burn and then collapse into ashes. Investigators believe the fire started in the steeple after it was struck by lightning.
Oh, struck by lightning, burnt the church down. What do you know, dude?
Nice.
Hey,
I mean,
Corey, hi, Adam.
And I'll tell you, they probably don't even learn after that either. That's what's really sad.
Most people know Logan Paul, right? Look what happened to him after he mocked God. Logan Paul, a famous YouTuber, mocks his Christian friends' beliefs. Logan Paul then admits that the following weeks were the worst weeks of his life after mocking Jesus Christ.
Honest with you, bro, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I saw
you
this.
You have to be very careful when you mock
what happened to him
people's
after?
religions.
No, I didn't see the after part though.
Here's a few weeks
I made
later.
some pretty out of line comments to George about George's beliefs, and I said, I'm not going to say what I said. I'm not even going there again because I'll tell you why. The following 3 weeks have been the hardest period of my life. We started off in Qatar. I got violent food poisoning.
Oh.
This is a nightmare. Oh. I feel like I'm all right. You're gonna be all right.
You're not in Qatar.
Camera taken away at the airport.
We were invited by Qatar. We landed in Qatar. Camera stripped from us. We get to my hotel. It's just little things here and there. Things are showing misscheduled.
Anyone can go back on my channel, click videos, and you can watch this full video along with a bunch of other good videos if you guys want. I'm just skipping through here. Also in the live videos, like I said a few times, my and Kenny's both did our NDE testimonies. Really worth watching. This one is real hardcore. This is a Satan festival and a Satan worshiping festival. In 2023, Brazil held a satanic
I saw
parade
this. Yeah, this was horrible.
where they had someone dressed up. Did you see what God did after?
Yeah, I did see that. That's the only one I saw.
Pitchfork. Well, hundreds of people looked on and celebrated it. Fine. 2 days later.
Catastrophic rainfall slamming southeast Brazil, now killing at least 46 people. Entire roads washed away in the downpours. Nearly 800 people are left homeless, and at least 1,700 are now displaced. Officials expecting the death toll to continue rising, with more than 36 people still unaccounted for.
God giveth, God take it away, huh?
That's right. So yeah, guys, I see there's a bunch more people here. So before we go, I would like to play the original 2-minute video for you guys of what the title is, about a woman who has a confrontation with God in the grocery store, because there's a bunch of new people here. So let me play it for y'all. Where'd it go? Here it is. Okay, here it is, guys. Play this one last time and then check it out, because there's some new people. This is why we originally made the video. This lady, this is what the video is titled for. This is a lady that saw the black identity. So here you go.
There are beings that is walking this earth, and they are not human. I just came from Kroger's. I just got off of work. I went to go pick up a few items, y'all. I go to the bread aisle. Now, the bread aisle is super long. I'm at one end of the bread aisle. There's a guy that's about 3/4 of the way down in the bread aisle. He got a cart. I got a cart. He's looking at me. And you know how you can see out your peripheral that somebody's staring at you. He ain't just looking, but he's staring at me. I kind of look his way. He's still staring. I go ahead and I get my bread. I go back around the other way because I'm going to the international aisle to get some pasta and some other stuff. While I'm in the international aisle at one end, this guy comes around and he's at the top of the same aisle. I see him still looking at me. Now, mind you, there's a couple of things that I need to get out of that aisle. So the first part of the aisle, I grab what I need to grab and I go about midways down. He's at the other end. So he's staring at me still. So I kind of look at him and I go like, how you give somebody that type look? He's still staring. So I'm looking for what I'm looking for. I can't really find it because he's throwing me off because he keeps staring. Mind you, this man don't have nothing in his cart. He's not even turned to look at any food. He's looking directly at me. By this time, I'm like, you know what? I'm not on it. I'm about to just stare you down. So I turn to look at him. Y'all, when I tell you, this man stared at me and his eyes turned black. Everything in his whole eyeball, not just the pupil, but the white part, turned completely black. He looked, it said black, and then he walked away. When I tell you I left that cart sitting in that aisle, I didn't even buy nothing from Kroger's. Out, I came home.
That's
There
crazy.
is stuff.
I don't blame him. I would have ran out of there myself.
At the store, they at what?
So like when we were first doing this, someone said, well, I've seen people that have tattooed the whites of their eyes. And yeah, I admit there are some people dumb enough to actually tattoo the whites of their eyeballs. But when we actually heard the story, she's seen his eyes turn black in front of her, dude.
Black.
And he keeps staring at her. What would be the reason for that? You know, like why would he? You know, I mean, she doesn't look like a stupid person. You know,
No.
His whole
We'll play this and then we'll chat a bit. 30
but
seconds.
the white part turned completely black. He looked, it said black, and then he walked away. When I tell you I left that cart sitting in that aisle, I didn't even buy nothing from Kroger's. I left out and I came home. There is stuff, there is beings that is walking in this earth, and they at the store, they at whatever, they look like us and everything else, but they are not human.
Wow.
it's like when he talk about those little kids with the black eyes too. That's
Yeah.
freaky.
That's freaky, but I heard that was made up, whatever. This is different, dude. This chick said his eyes turn black. So it's not like seeing someone with black eyes. Like this guy was like staring at her from the time she walked in. He was staring her down, and she's like, well, why is this guy staring me down? Like we were talking about that before, Kenny. Like this demon just like singled her out. And then she was staring back at him or it or whatever it was. And she literally watched his eyes go from normal and just turn black, like just slowly go poof and just turn all the way black.
That's
So
where I got sold right there. When
Yeah.
she said that I was sold on it right there.
That is some creepy stuff, 100%, man. So yeah, that's a little different than having your eyes tattooed black or already having black eyes. Like you watch someone's eyes turn black in front of you, like whoa. She's like, I didn't even buy anything. I wouldn't have bought nothing either, dude. I would have left that place so fast.
At least she was smart enough to leave, you know. So
I would have ran home and just prayed and prayed and prayed, dude. I would have got right out of there. That's for sure.
Now, Nick, did she have anything else on the channel, or that was the only thing that was anything related to that?
That
Like
was the only thing related to that
Yeah,
so far. It's a new
yeah,
video.
you see? So it's not like she's going around putting out a ton of videos about her trying to get people to pay attention.
Oh no!
You know?
All the rest
Yeah,
of her
this
stuff is normal. She's doing stuff with her kids, just like normal stuff.
Yeah,
That was the
no.
only video like that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I believe it, man. I mean, I don't know what your chat is saying because I can't see it, but I would believe it. And believe me, I see these type of things a lot. Spiritually, I've been, you know some of my stories, and I just know people. And based on what I see and what I heard, I can believe her 100%. You know.
There you go, Adam. There's a link if you want to come in. I don't know how much longer we'll be on. Oh, you missed it, did you, Joey? Well, I don't have a problem playing it again. It's short. I'll do it just for you, Joe T. Just for you. People are going to be like, again? Here you go, Joe T. This is for you. It's only 2 minutes long. So I'll play it for you, bro. I mean, you missed the stream, but the good part of this, the whole title of the stream, what it's about, is right here in this 2-minute clip.
Listen up, y'all. There are beings that is walking this earth, and they are not human.
Look down,
I
fine.
just came from Kroger's. I just got off of work. I went to go pick up a few items, y'all. I
Look
go
good,
to the
babe.
bread aisle. Now, the bread aisle is super long. I'm at one end of the bread aisle.
Sorry, I was talking to my wife, not this lady.
There's a guy that's about 3/4 of the way down in the bread aisle. He got a cart. I got a cart. He's looking at me. And you know how you can see out your peripheral that somebody's staring at you. He ain't just looking, but he's staring at me. I kind of look his way. He's still staring. I go ahead and I get my bread. I go back around the other way because I'm going to the international aisle to get some pasta and some other stuff. While I'm in the international aisle at one end, this guy comes around and he's at the top of the same aisle. I see him still looking at me. Now, mind you, there's a couple of things that I need to get out of that aisle. So the first part of the aisle, I grab what I need to grab and I go about midways down. He's at the other end. So he's staring at me still. So I kind of look at him and I go like, how you give somebody that type look? He's still staring. So I'm looking for what I'm looking for. I can't really find it because he's throwing me off because he keeps staring. Mind you, this man don't have nothing in his cart. He's not even turned to look at any food. He's looking directly at me. By this time, I'm like, you know what? I'm not on it. I'm about to just stare you down. So I turn to look at him. Y'all, when I tell you, this man stared at me and his eyes turned black. Everything in his whole eyeball, not just the pupil, but the white part, turned completely black. He looked, it said black, and then he walked away. When I tell you I left that cart sitting in that aisle, I didn't even buy nothing from Kroger's. I left out and I came home. There is stuff, there is beings that is walking in this earth, and they at the store, they at whatever, they look like us and everything else, but they are not human.
Adam, go look at your Facebook, bro, for a sec. I sent you a message. I just have to double check, bro. I have to make sure that. Okay. So many haters some people try and porn bomb me. Hey, Adam.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, I just have to make sure it was you.
Porn bombed?
Well, occasionally, bro. And this has been a good show with quite a bit of viewers. Whenever there's a jealous BHI on, they'll try and porn bomb me. So I just want. It hasn't happened for a while, but I just want to make sure. I didn't want to ruin the show and have to private it because it's been a good show. So I just wanted to make sure it was you. I just wanted to quickly respond to Joe T. He says, "Why? I really don't get why we can't smoke weed. Because Jesus calls for us to be sober-minded, bro. And like I used to smoke a lot of weed too, and I fully believe that like all plants and herbs have their benefits. So like if you're smoking it for like health reasons or something, but if you're using something just to get high, that's you do what you want, but that's not being sober minded. If you're like, oh, let's smoke this weed just so I can get all high, like I honestly don't think that's of God, bro, to be honest with you.
I don't think so either. And I smoked a ton of it my whole life.
Yeah, I used to smoke a lot of weed, and I also used to smoke a lot of heroin and a lot of other stuff, dude. And it ain't good. It ain't being sober minded. So unfortunately,
Personally, I use edibles because I have Crohn's, right? So
yeah, that's what I mean. I think God makes everything for a reason, and like I don't think there's anything wrong with THC, but if you're using something just solely to get high off it, pretty sure that goes against what God says, right?
The medication for Crohn's, I would feel freaking high on it because it's a steroid, right? So Right. I just rather use weed that relaxes everything.
Yeah, I believe that's different. If you're using it for medicinal purposes, I mean, that's why they give it to people, right? So it's like, I don't think God would want anybody to sit there because, hey, it might lead to something else, right? You know, if you're in constant pain, you might sit there and say, you know what, let me take some opiates. And we all know where that leads to. So, I mean, you know, to each his own. I'm not going to judge anybody, and I don't think anybody should be judged, but
Yeah, I just want to make that clear because Joe is asking me all these questions, bro, and I appreciate that. But I just want to say, like, I don't have all the answers. I'm not God. I don't know how he's going to judge your heart. And the last thing I ever wanted to be was a preacher because I don't want that responsibility. First of all, God judges preachers a lot harder than he judges other people. And
100.
like, I don't want that. I know that I'm kind of in this situation because I have a small YouTube following and I'm very interested in the scripture. But me, dude, I'm not preaching to anyone, dude. I was a fentanyl addict for so long, heroin, fentanyl. I've done every drug under the sun. Like, I'm the last person that you want preaching. I'm clean now, but it took a lot. Like I said, dude, it took me losing a finger in a street fight. It took almost 20 years. It took me going code blue in the hospital, not breathing. I wasn't on drugs when that happened, but when I was code blue and didn't breathe, I had the craziest vision, NDE. I felt, seen, even tasted stuff. And I was telepathically told I've been living a lie. I was showing the poison that fentanyl is. It's a pure evil drug. So I have come off drugs since then. And I used to smoke just like Kenny, bro. Like from the time I was 12 years old till the time I was probably 30 something, I smoked at least, like, I would say like an eighth or more a day, but I didn't smoke weed at that point. I was smoking like the purest concentrates known to man, like not even shatter, like way better than shatter. I was smoking like live resin and like distillate, like stuff that's like 98, 99% pure THC that you just drop on like a little shatter pen and take a hoot. Like, I was like going hardcore on the THC, bro, like for almost my whole life. But yeah, that stuff just, you get so high. Like, if you were, weed is like the most feely kind of drug out of almost anything, bro. If you don't have a weed tolerance, if you like quit smoking weed for like 2 or 3 months and took a giant hit of shatter, you would be so high for like hours, dude. You'd be like on another planet.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah.
it messes you up, bro.
I can take like 50 milligrams personally and only be buzzed for like 5-10 minutes, and then I'm normal.
Yeah, Joe, like they're like diamonds, THC diamonds, distill it, all that stuff.
I've never had that.
It's just pretty much like pure THC. A diamond is just a block of THC.
You see, I can't smoke it, right? So I have to eat it.
CBD is supposed to be super good for you. You can do that. It doesn't have any of the intoxicating effects. It's supposed to relax you, and it's supposed to be really healthy for you. But I've never personally tried CBD. But someone like Adam, who's taking it for Crohn's pain, like, I would way recommend that than getting hooked on opiates. If that's working for you for controlling your pain, bro, more power to you.
Exactly. Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, sometimes it's pretty intense, right? So I need to have like, a gummy or something like that just to totally relax everything, right?
I get it, Joe. It's legal in this country too. You can buy it at any store on the corner. You don't need a license. You don't need anything. But alcohol is legal too. And all throughout the Bible, you hear, "Don't be a drunkard. Stay sober. Don't get drunk on wine." So like, it doesn't matter if something has been legalized by modern government. It's still an intoxicating,
I mean, if you have a prescription, opiates are legal as well, right?
Yeah, opiates are legal too if you have a prescription, and they're pure evil. Look how many people have died. The opiates started the fentanyl crisis, and fentanyl is a legal drug in the hospital for end of life care. Certain people like Dan that has that crazy disease. I forget what it's called, where he has little tumors that grow all over his nervous system. There's people that get pumps and patches put in them that squirt out fentanyl when they have crazy pain. So like, you could go down that road too. Fentanyl is legal if you have a prescription for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've gotten a fentanyl contact high, and that was not fun. It was like, very Well, because I work at a homeless day shelter that has a safe consumption
Oh
site,
yeah,
right?
you see all that stuff.
So it's like, yeah,
You're from
absolutely.
BC where it's like legal. It's so crazy. Legal.
Yeah.
As long as you have under 3 or 4 grams, you can legally just shoot up on the street, smoke crack on it. It's insane,
Not
dude.
on the street. Safe. Okay, you have to go to a safe consumption site to use it legally.
They change it because, like in Vancouver
Yeah.
and Nanaimo, there's junkies all over the streets just fucking shooting it everywhere. So, excuse my language.
It's not legal, but if it's rampant, cops can't really do anything.
It's unless they changed it in BC, it's legal to have it, legal to carry it, legal to use it. Maybe it's not legal to use it in public, but
Yeah, not in public, but
you can legally carry under 3.5 grams of fentanyl. You're legal allowed to have it in your pocket. Cops can't do anything about it.
yeah,
How
and it's
crazy is
like
that?
when they blow it out of the shack and I walk past, the smoke goes right in my face, right? So it's or if I bust somebody using when the OPS is closed or the safe consumption site's closed because it's on the same property as a day shelter. So, and all of a sudden they exhale and it goes in my face, right? They don't do it on purpose, but it's like
Crazy.
Well,
that's crazy. Joe's
Yeah,
asking
dude.
about trank. That's when they cut it with a horse tranquilizer called xylazine.
Yeah.
And most people don't want xylazine. Like when I was using it, I would get it from like the dark web and it would be like tested chemically. I would specifically order stuff with no xylazine, no benzos, because you don't want that. It's garbage. But it's still all
Heroin's not
garbage.
even on the market anymore, man. It's
No, you
fentanyl
can't.
everywhere.
You couldn't get heroin in this country for years. It went away years ago. And even if you get something someone calls heroin that's brown, it's just fentanyl dyed brown. There's no such
Yeah.
thing as heroin in Canada anymore. Yeah, I was getting it last year. You can get it, but I had to order it from the UK. There's no fentanyl in England. They don't have a trade agreement with China. They never experienced the fentanyl epidemic in the UK. They never
Wow, I
went.
didn't know that.
Yeah, they
Wow.
never went. They never went through it over there. I was ordering pure old school heroin from the UK. They don't have any fentanyl over there.
Wow.
Yeah, you relapsed last year, didn't you?
I did, yeah, but I'm clean now.
Yeah. That's good. And the wife's back and everything?
She never left, man.
Oh, I thought she did. Or was that some made up rumor?
Made up rumor. My wife never left me once. She's been here the whole
Oh,
time.
sorry. I thought
So many people like Perry and stuff cast lies about me that aren't true. She never
is he
left.
still like doing his thing? Because I haven't seen a
Oh yeah,
notification
dude.
from
He's been commenting ever since I had my near-death experience. He's been commenting on all my videos, calling me a liar, a fraud, saying that I made up the whole thing when I was on DMT to try and steal people's money. Just pure evil, dude.
When were you doing DMT?
Never.
What a guy.
I literally code blued in the hospital, seen all the came out of my body, seen all the doctors and nurses working on me. Wasn't breathing for almost 3 minutes, felt like 3 hours, dude. I seen so much stuff. God appeared at the end as a light and saved me from hell. If you haven't watched it yet, Adam, after you should watch my NDE, bro.
Okay, bro.
I tell the whole testimony. Go on my. I think I linked it to you on Facebook.
Yeah. And I was like, oh,
And
I thought it was
Kenny's
somebody
is on there.
else's.
No, it's mine. Kenny's is on there. The guy on our chat. He told it. He had an NDE when he was a teenager. He went through the windshield of a car. His was even more intense than mine because he seen the devil taking him to hell. But
Yes, I choke up the very day talking about it.
what's that,
Nick,
Kenny? What's that, Adam?
What did you see, bro?
Well, I have my full testimony. It's like it takes a while, but I'll try and break it down for a short, and you can watch the full testimony later. So I went into the hospital. It was really crazy how it all started. It happened on Christmas Day, December 25th. I was having trouble breathing. I wasn't using any drugs, any alcohol, or anything like that. I went to the hospital, and the whole hospital was so full. You know how in the emergency they have all the rooms that are divided by like curtains? Well,
Yeah.
the only place they could put me in the emergency was the triage room. Smack dead in the middle of the ER. The whole room is surrounded by glass, and it has the big light over top for doing emergency triage surgeries and stuff. So I was in like the perfect place at the perfect time. I was right in the middle of the ER in the glass room where every doctor and nurse could see me. I went in there with trouble breathing. 40 minutes later, I passed out and quit breathing right in the ER. Code blue. Alarm went off. Code blue, code blue. All the nurses and doctors ran over. I wasn't breathing for almost 3 minutes, bro. So I first I went out and I like was having really vivid dreams, and I was in this really great happy place. It was like a 1990s mall setting, and like it was
Yeah.
really fun and stuff. And then I came to, and like all the doctors and nurses were running around and going all crazy. And like one of the nurses was like, Nick, did you take anything? What did you take? And I said, oh, just a couple Tylenol. And then boom, and I was out. And then I went into a place and I realized, oh, I think I'm dying. They're like fighting for my life. So like at that point, I realized I was dying, and I seen so much crazy stuff, bro. You're gonna have to watch the video to get all the details. But after I seen all this crazy stuff near the end, I'll tell you near the end, I got onto a stretcher and they started wheeling me out the door, and like it was wintertime, so I could feel the chill of the winter nighttime air on my skin, and I got goosebumps. That's how real it felt. None of that was happening. They were still fighting for my life in the triage center. I thought I was being loaded on a stretcher, taken to a bigger hospital to try and save my life. But when I got on the stretcher, there was two guys, and this one guy, he gave me this like plastic tube thing that looked like a hooter that I used to smoke my heroin with off tinfoil or my fentanyl. He gave it to me, and he's like, whatever comes out of this, you swallow it. And like it was the most bitter, nasty tasting poison. And like just thinking about the way it tasted right now, I could taste this going in my stomach. Makes me want to puke and gag right now. It was the grossest tasting crap. And then I looked, and the guy that told me to do that, bro, he had the same hooter in his mouth. So I'm like, this is weird. And I used to get all my dope delivered to me in like delivery vans because it would come off the dark web. And they weren't loading me into an ambulance, dude. They were loading me into a freaking delivery van. So I was like, okay, this is some evil stuff right here. That was like God's way of telling me that shit's evil. It's sending you to hell. Because these people, I asked the guy, should I be swallowing this or spitting it out? And he said, if you want to live, you swallow it, buddy. And then I looked, and he had the same tube in his mouth. They took me to this place at the end. I get out of this van, and I'm on this wide, deserty, rocky road. And I'm like looking, and on both sides of the road, there's armies fighting, soldiers fighting. Some of these soldiers, they look like they're from ancient Roman times. Some of the other ones look like they're from modern times. Bunch more stuff happened in between, but then this road turned into this danky, swampy marsh area. And like this whole time, I knew that I was in a fight for my life, and the doctors and stuff were fighting to save me. Right? I knew that this was going on. But then when I walked into this marsh, everything stopped. Everything went quiet, dude, and everything was calm. There was nothing. So I'm like, oh, well, I guess the fight's over. Guess they lost. Guess I'm dead. That sucks. So then these two beings appeared, and they look like middle-aged white women with short blonde hair, and they sounded like this. They're like, okay, Nick, come on. It's time to go now. That's exactly what it sounded like. Okay, Nick, come on. It's time to go now. And I'm like, okay. So I started following them, and they're leading me into this dank, swampy, like marshy area. And like something just didn't feel right. So I'm looking around, and I'm like, where's my nana? Like, where's my loved ones and people I recognize? Where's God? Like, thought I was a Christian.
Yeah.
So like I said to them, you're not of God. And dude, as soon as I said that, this being just like looked at me, and it was like, God? Where's your God now? And I'm like, oh. So I'm like, I don't want to follow these people. Turn around, and I'm like, called out. I'm like, God, like, where are you? God. And then all of a sudden I seen like little sun rays come out of nowhere. And these little rays of sun were hitting the ground on the marsh. And as soon as these sun rays hit these beings that were trying to lead me away, they instantly just like went down on one knee and like turned to stone. And I turn around, and this light is just like boof, like all around me, bro. And I'm like immersed in this crazy warm, like, but it was like, some people describe it as like a super loving feeling light. It didn't feel like that to me. I knew this light was all powerful and almighty, but it felt super like, it felt just like the most powerful thing in the universe, and just very just. And right then I had telepathic communication. I understood 100% that I fully deserved everything I was getting. I fully deserved everywhere these beings were leading me. I realized the life I had lived had been a complete waste. I'd been a horrible husband, a horrible Christian, a horrible friend, a piece of garbage. And there was nothing I could say or do because this thing could see me down to the depths of my soul. This was God, dude, the creator, Yahweh. He knew everything about me, dude. There was nothing I could even begin to say, oh, well, there's people worse than me. Couldn't say anything. Nothing, dude. And he telepathically told me in that moment I'd been living a lie. My whole life I was talking the talk, but I was not walking the walk. I was not living as a Christian. I was not following God's commandments. I was not following the commandments of Jesus. It's one thing to say you're a Christian, but hyper grace, once saved, always saved, is a lie, dude. He was telling me that you can say you're a Christian, you can say you believe in Jesus, you can say you love him, but if you don't show him, actions speak louder than words. If you're not walking the walk of a Christian, you are not a Christian, straight up. And then this giant like poker chip came in the middle of the light and it spun 3 times, bro. And every time it spun, he showed me a different number of years of life. And he was telling me that every time that I used these hard drugs and stuff, I was gambling with the life that he gave me. So if you die from an overdose, bro, you go to hell. I was gambling with the life that he gave me. All I could think about in that moment was to telepathically tell him, please do not let me die. Give me another chance. Don't let my wife, all alone on Christmas, get the notification that her husband had died. Please don't let that happen. And then at that moment, I was just shot it back into my body, dude. And it was like the worst, most painful, disgusting, weirdest feeling I've ever felt. I don't even know how to describe it, dude. What I've said is it would feel like your soul being crammed into a tiny little bucket full of oily rags with broken glass. If you had like millions of cuts all over your body from razors, and then just being jammed into this disgusting bucket, and like when they were working on me in the hospital, I couldn't even move. I was almost dead. As soon as I fired back into my body, dude, I sat straight up in my bed. Like within a second, I was like,
Wow.
it like scared the doctors and nurses. I sat straight up in my bed and I like let out the yell, like loudest yell. I was like, holy shit. Part of my language, but that's what I said. And I was like, there was like quivering in my voice as I said it. And I was like, my skin was just instantly on fire, dude. And I was like, convulsing and shaking and like puking, wanting to puke. And they're just like, I'm like, do you understand where I just was? All the doctors and nurses, I'm like, don't leave my bed. Like the doctor's like, don't, it's okay. I'm just going to be on the other side of this curtain. I grabbed him by his wrist. I'm like, no, I'm like, you don't understand where I just was. I'm like, don't leave me. I don't want to go back there. And they're all like, where were you? They're like, we know where you were. You were dead. We just saved you. They're like, where were you? Like laughing. I'm like, and then all I could say was, I love God, like over and over. And I was like yelling it out, like the whole hospital could hear me. And all the doctors and nurses just laughed. Like, oh, you love God, eh? Haha. I'm like, yeah, I do. And then they just like packed me with like 4 blankets. And for the next hour, I just lied there shivering and convulsing.
Wow.
And yeah, that was,
That's intense, bro.
that happened last Christmas. And my wife told me after it happened that the night I went to the hospital, because she's very like, she loves God too. And she's like super like a believer. She prayed that God would wake me up and do something to send me a sign to, wake me up and change the path I was on. She had no idea that I would like die almost and meet him. Huh. But yeah. Whatever prayer she said, God answered it. That's for sure.
Do you know what I've noticed? Even throughout the Bible, God has a very special place in his heart for women.
Yeah, it's true.
A very, very special place. You see that in the Old Testament and the New Testament.
My wife is a good woman, dude. She's put up with a lot of crap from
Same
me.
with mine.
And
Same with mine, man.
She's a little Asian girl from a different country who's never even took one puff. She never even took a puff of pot in her entire life. And here she marries a guy who relapses and is on the hardest drug known to man. And like, dude, she put up with a lot of crap from me, dude. And like, I think I owe like everything to her. And then, but dude, I actually, for the first time, this was a couple days after this happened to me. I was in the hospital for like 8 days or something. All the there's nobody in my hospital room. All the doctors and nurses left. I was in there all alone. There was no one else in there. I had the whole room to myself. I said this prayer to God, and like all of a sudden, it was the craziest feeling, Adam. The most intense feeling of bliss and peace came over me, and I couldn't contain myself, and I just cried like a baby for like an hour straight, and I had no idea what was happening. And I called my wife and my mom, and I told them I'd been such a shitty son and wife. I just cried and cried, and it was they were tears of joy. And I realized, dude, that was the first time I've ever felt the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit actually came over me. It took almost 20 years of seeking, losing a finger in a street fight, and going code blue and almost dying in the hospital to finally find God and feel the Holy Spirit. That's how stubborn
because
I am.
you lost your finger like a couple years ago, didn't you?
No, it was like not that long ago. Like
I thought it was like at least a year.
Like maybe 7 or 8 months ago, 6, 7 months ago. 8
That's
months.
crazy.
Yeah.
Why were you sick in the
Another lie of demonic Perry. Told everyone my wife like bit my finger off because I got in a fight with her. Completely 100%. Yeah, completely made up out of the blue. Nothing to substantiate it. 100% BS. And he's also the one I think that said my wife left me. 100% BS, dude. That guy's people, man. I tell you, she's never left me once. She bit my finger off. She weighs 95 pounds. She's 4'11". Yeah, my wife bit my finger off. I'm 6'2" and I'm over 300 pounds. You think my wife could come on, dude? We don't fight. Like we've gotten in like a couple arguments, but nothing physical. Like, come on, dude. Just because he actually cheated on his wife with a cult member and beat his wife, he's got to try and project his stuff on me. Like, give me a break, dude.
Yeah,
Perry,
with you, man.
Here's the thing about Perry. If he actually did everything properly, he would reach a lot of people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Because he's got that charisma about him, right?
Yeah, there's also a disconnect in his brain, though.
Yeah.
He can't see past the 5 verses in the Bible. He literally takes I don't even want to talk about Perry because he's just going to do another show. So, you know what I mean? This isn't about him. I don't really
He's
care.
never done a show about me.
Well, that's because you don't have a YouTube channel.
Perry, I'm hurt. I want a show.
Go start leaving comments and calling him out. You'll get his attention. Go to his channel.
Perry, after everything we've been through. Actually, personally, I do like Perry. I do, and I appreciate his charisma, and he stands to his beliefs and doesn't budge, right? How many people are like that in this world? Whether the beliefs are right or wrong, a belief is a belief, right? And not too many people stand strong on their beliefs.
Someone who's literally on camera said he's equal to Jesus and called Jesus an effing a-hole and all this crazy stuff. Like, I don't understand. Like, I can't endorse any of that. I love Perry and I pray for him every night. And I tell him that I don't want anybody to go to the place that I went to. But what he's teaching people is dangerous and it's going to lead people to
I wholly 100% agree with you. However, I still love the guy. You know what I mean?
Doesn't he think he's like the apostle or something like that? Didn't he say he was the apostle Peter or something like that?
Oh,
I remember hearing
Paul.
Yeah, he thinks he's Paul.
No, he dubbed his friend. He dubbed his friend Tim. Made him an apostle. Like, how blasphemous is that for someone to make someone an apostle?
Well, Nar does that all the time. So, Todd Bentley was an apostle.
the apostles were the people that had a direct communication with God. They're the ones that wrote the Bible, dude. They're the ones that received they're the ones
Nick,
that
did I
received
ever tell you who I was
inspiration
connected
from
to
God. No.
in the charismatic movement?
Who?
I used to be really good friends with Todd Bentley in my teen years.
Oh yeah. Todd Bentley.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah. It's a
The
heretic.
biker boot
Yeah.
guy.
He's a clown.
John Arnott, the guy from Toronto Blessing.
Don't know that one, but I know Todd Bentley.
Yeah. I knew all those guys. Went back when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was big into the charismatic movement. Very big. You just brought up apostles and charismatic movements. Very good at proclaiming that someone's an apostle or a prophet or yada yada.
I doubt they were running around saying, "I can't sin."
No. I like all the guys from like Bethel and all that stuff, right? Yeah, it's pretty interesting watching like Pentecostals abuse the spiritual gifts.
Yeah, absolutely. Flopping around and stuff like that. My baby's mother's father owned it. They ran a church, a Pentecostal church, and yeah, they're. I don't like to talk bad about people or anything, but I really hope that they find.
Yeah.
And it was scary going into there. I mean, I remember being young and thinking I wasn't even really saved, and I just knew that wasn't the right way to preach or even believe in Jesus. Same thing like with the Catholics. I grew up as a Catholic. I'm from a strict Catholic family, but I knew at an early age, nah, this is not the right way. I'm from a strict, I'm from a strict Italian family, so everybody's a Catholic. Everybody, I went through the whole Sunday school, received my communion, received my confirmation. I did the whole works, but I didn't even really learn anything. It wasn't until I didn't learn. I mean, I felt like I was being forced to do this. They baptized me when I was born. But what is that, right? Thankfully, I got to the right church. I started meeting the right people. I literally just got baptized as an adult, I think in this summer. So about 3 months ago. Yeah. So definitely, and I don't mean to bash anyone else's belief system. I'm not here to bash Catholics. They're great people. But I just believe their way of
deceived.
You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think it's the right way. I mean, I didn't get anything from it. So maybe there's people out there that are, and that's fine with them. I'm not trying to be too judgmental, but at the same time, when it comes to Pentecostal, what's the other ones? Jehovah's Witness, they're around me as well. To me, they're cults. I don't know. I don't want to again bash anybody, but
obviously Jehovah's Witness is a cult.
Yeah.
They have their own Bible, the Watchtower series. Anyone that rewrites,
they believe that Jesus is Saint Michael.
Yeah, they have the Watchtower series. They take the Bible, but they change certain things in it. Anyone that does that is totally a cult, and not anyone should be following.
And they bother us every Sunday morning by knocking on our doors.
They don't change the
We
Bible.
are Christian.
They're not like the Mormons who have their completely own what is it? The Book of Joseph Smith.
Yeah, the Book of Mormons. Oh, yeah. We see those guys there at the stores all the time.
That's just a crazy fairy tale. The Jehovah's Witnesses, the Bible's very similar to ours, but they just change a few little things in there that are pretty blasphemous. They don't believe Jesus was God. They believe he was a god. What do they believe? He was they
believe that he's Archangel Saint Michael and that he was an angel. So it's not like the Muslims, how they believe that he's just a prophet. At least he took it to the next level and says he's an archangel, but they don't believe he's God.
See.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just really weird stuff people believe, right? What's this vocab's been saying is that the BHI is basically an alien cult. Did you hear that?
The what, bro?
BHI is pretty much an alien cult.
Illegal alien cult?
Alien.
Really? Like
Yeah.
UFO outer space aliens?
Yeah, yeah. UFO outer space alien. He did a show the other day about it.
Huh.
I wouldn't doubt it.
That's why they're like all dressed like space agey and stuff like that all the time.
Oh, I think they're so funny the way they dressed. They remind me of that movie. What is it? Show Enough? Bruce Leroy and them.
He's basically saying that they're like a sci-fi cult, I guess. I don't know.
Where do you get those? I mean, no, I there is a place in Harlem in New York that they sell that gear there. That's the only place that I'm because like where do you get that stuff from? I mean,
special order online, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. But these guys have been around for so long before the internet, so it's like
those guys are just another freaking wow. They're like the worst word twisting, Bible twisting, Hebrew hopscotch. I want nothing to do with those people anymore, man.
Speaking about BHI, how's Melvin doing?
He's awesome. He actually came into a show the other day with me, and we did a couple shows till he left, and then he came. We did another show a couple hours later. I like Melvin a lot.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man.
Is he still BHI?
Oh yeah, he's not going to change. He says he's not a BHI, but he holds to those beliefs. He'll tell you I'm not a part of a camp or anything, but if you ask him like, "Hey Melvin, are you a Hebrew?" He'll be like, "Yeah, I'm a Hebrew."
He's a
Israelite."
moderate. That's what he is. He's a moderate.
So like he says he doesn't belong to any camp, and he doesn't agree with a lot of the camps. But if you ask him like, "Are you a true Israelite?" He'll say yes. And I'm sure if you ask him, were all the Israelites back in the day black? He'll say yeah. You ask him if Jesus was black, he'll probably say yeah. And so were all the disciples. So yeah.
How about J-Man? Is he still around?
No, we had a falling out. He I don't know. I don't want to talk about it publicly because it's really no one's business, but I can talk to you privately about it.
Okay.
It was nothing really that I did. It was just involving a couple girls in the Discord, and things got a little,
I think I remember you telling me.
things got a little out of hand there. Yeah. I would talk to J-Man again. I kind of miss the
Honestly,
guy.
he's a freaking knowledgeable dude.
Yeah.
He really is.
But I kind of noticed that he's really only knowledgeable when it comes to BHI. That's like all he ever wanted to do was just, and I'm pretty sure that's all he still does. There's like an app called Clubhouse. I think he went over there. Like all he ever wants to do is debate with BHI. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. For some reason,
Really?
he's just continuous. That's all he does. But I kind of missed the guy. We've talked for a long time, and I mean, I got nothing against him. I'm really good at forgiving people. That's one thing. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but like, I don't stay mad at people long. I'm the type of guy that gets mad easily, quickly, but I calm down really easy. Like I forgive
Same here.
anyone. I forgive Perry. I'd forgive J-Man, like anyone, dude. I'd even forgive Pastor Craig and all those people in South Africa. Like I don't hold hateness or anything in my heart like that. So like if J-Man were to come back around, like I would definitely bury the hatchet with the guy and even do more shows with him.
Yeah,
So,
that's real.
How about Sep?
Sep's awesome. I haven't heard from him for a while. He shows up every now and then. He'll just randomly pop in. Like last time you were with him, me and him. Remember, he just popped in there and we seen him for a couple days, and then he just disappears.
He's a really good guy too.
Yeah, I like Sep a lot, but he's got his own issues, obviously, that he's working through. Hopefully he's worked through them. Hopefully he's doing okay. I left him a couple messages on Twitter the other day. I told him I love him and I hope everything's okay with him, and I hope he's doing great and everything's well. So hopefully he gets back to me. And Matt Powell, I don't know if you know Matt Powell, but he got back to me too. I haven't heard from him forever. Just about 2 days ago, Matt Powell left.
Isn't that the guy Perry first debated?
Yeah, he debated him on my channel. And he's Matt Powell's pretty well known in the Christian world. He was living with Kent Hovind for a while, and he used to Matt Powell used to be part of Steven Anderson's congregation.
Oh, yeah?
Matt Powell himself is a real good guy, and I hadn't heard from him forever. I thought he like brushed me away because of like all the crap I've been going through. Matt's like a really good. He's a real honest kind of like, you know, never done anything wrong. Grew up in the church his whole life. Kind of Christian, real straight laced kind of dude. Never looked at porn. Never looked at porn before. Kind of guy. And I was worried my hardcore, ruthless ex-criminal lifestyle I used to lead and me relapsing, I kind of scared him away for a while, but he emailed me for the first time in like almost 2 years, just like yesterday. He's like, "Hey bro, how you doing?" And he's like, "I love you, brother. You've been a real good friend to me over the years." Good. And that was pretty much it. So, but yeah, that was cool. That was cool to hear from Matt.
Yeah,
again.
man, I miss the old days, like with Mr. Wackadoo and
Al?
Yeah.
Al's still around, dude. I was doing a show with Al just like last week, talking about his Texas thing. We did a show last week about how he owns Texas, and Al says when he takes control of Texas, he's going to give me a house in it, and then it always goes back to the law. Like he's so like cognitive dissonance about the law, dude. He's like, guy wears tassels on his pants and all this like. You'll read stuff about like how it literally says like when Jesus came, when the schoolmaster came, there's no longer a need to be under the law. And he'll be like, well, that just means this. Like he'll never, no matter what you say to him, bro, he will not buy it, no matter what. Like the Bible could literally say as clear as day, if the Bible said there is no need for it pretty much does say that as clear as day. Paul pretty much does say, we don't need the Mosaic law anymore. We're under the covenant of Christ. Like that's what it says. But it could literally say in these words, Al, we are not following the Mosaic law anymore. We are under the new covenant and the law of Jesus Christ. And he would say, well, that just means this. And literally, dude, like you try and argue with the guy about being under the Mosaic law, you'll get nowhere.
Yeah. Or don't forget,
what's that?
What was it?
Oh, that stubbornness is pretty scary.
Have more than one wife and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's scary. What, Adam? What'd you say, Adam?
Remember, he thinks that we can have more than one wife.
But does he? Does he? I don't think so.
Yeah, he does. Remember we debated him on that.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. But just a couple days ago, the whole food issue came up again. We were talking about eating bacon and stuff, and he was arguing with me. No, you can't eat bacon or shellfish. And I was like, reading.
Can I say something?
Well, sure.
I would have to agree with him on that one.
What? How?
I don't eat bacon or shellfish or anything like
How
that.
can you agree that all foods are not clean?
Yeah, isn't it in like Matthew?
It's so clear, bro. Jesus.
I personally believe that Peter's vision was a metaphor.
I'm not talking about Peter. Jesus literally says in Matthew that nothing that you put in your stomach can make you. It literally says everything that goes into your stomach, and if you look into the Greek, it says everything that goes into your stomach is expelled out of you and goes into the sewer, and nothing, not one single thing you put in your stomach can make you unclean. He says it's not what goes in your stomach, it's what comes out of your heart that defiles a person. So how can you possibly disagree with that?
Thank God, because I love shellfish and bacon.
Yeah.
And even Peter like elaborates even further, and Paul especially, he says, do not judge someone by what they eat. One person wants to eat meat, the other person wants to eat vegetables. Let it be. Don't judge people. Don't judge people by eating meat that's given to idols. Like all throughout the Bible, and Jesus could not have been like, now that you're here, dude, let's bring it up and I'll read it. And you tell me how you could possibly, if someone doesn't want to eat bacon or shellfish, that's perfectly fine. And like back in the day of the Israelites, sure, it had a purpose because a lot of people didn't cook pork to the right temperature, and
Exactly.
they would get sick and stuff like that. But like
Mhm.
nowadays, we know proper cooking procedures. Like we know to stay away from red tide and shellfish. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if you couldn't eat steak and lobster or bacon wrapped scallops?
I worked at Red Lobster, for crying out loud.
All right,
I don't know.
this is
Plus,
in
with
the
Crohn's, I can't eat it anyways, man.
yeah. There you go. Right.
It's like does a whole number on my stomach.
Okay. Now that we're here, let's bring it up.
I'm actually starting to switch to like wild game and stuff like that.
Of course, Jesus wasn't white. Who would ever say Jesus was white? Who in their right mind would say Jesus was white? Like
He looks just like Logan Paul. Come on.
Jesus was a Middle Eastern Jew. He had dark olivey dark skin. Like he would just Google Bethlehem, Google the citizens of Bethlehem. The town that he grew up and born in is still there today. If you want to know what his skin color looked like.
Who's Agent KK?
She's a friend of mine. She's cool.
Okay. Yes, we know Jesus wasn't European.
And what does it really matter if you really think? I mean, what is skin color anyway?
It's a pigmentation. BHI is just an off branch of the 5%ers.
Oh yeah,
BHI stands for. Someone's asking what BHI stands for. It's Black Hebrew Israelism. That's what it stands for. Black Hebrew Israelite. And it basically they're a bunch of black people. They started off being just black people. Now they've evolved into including Hispanics and Native Americans and stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, they're definitely an offspring of those 5%ers. Because when I was in jail, those guys, every white person, even if you were partly white, was the devil. And I think the BHI believed the same thing, right? The white man's the devil.
Yeah, well, they are the worst word twisters in the world. They take Deuteronomy 68. I think it's Deuteronomy chapter 68, if I'm not mistaken. And the one where it says, and you shall return on ships to the land that whatever where you came from, is talking about sending people back to Egypt.
Yeah.
They say because it says ships, they're like, well, who came here on ships? African Americans during the slave trade. So
But who got like who had like Nick? Were you able to pick what gender or what color you were before you were born? Like,
if you knew,
why is that my fault that I was born in color?
If you knew the atrocities and how stupid their beliefs are, you would literally laugh. Like one BHI guy said to me, what did God make people out of? I'm like, the dirt, the dust he breathed into the ground. He's like, exactly. What color is dirt? He's like, there you go. I'm not kidding. Those are the stupid arguments that these people use. Like, I'm not joking.
Oh my God.
It's literally ridiculous. Like, it's the dumbest thing. And they say that this one word that means Egypt, what do they say? It means bondage. In Deuteronomy, when it says, I will send you back to Egypt on ships the way you came, because that's what it says. I will send you back to Egypt. They go, that word Mizrahim for Egypt, it means bondage, not Egypt. It's like, what are you talking about, dude? It means Egypt.
Something soft.
It's so convenient, right? Because you're black, so it's like, oh, it's so easy just because of your race. You're going to go to hell. I'm going to heaven. How convenient.
Well, how can you argue with a person that makes up his own words and tells you that a word in the Bible doesn't mean what it says? You can't argue with someone like that. There's no point. Okay, Adam, now that you're here, Adam, this is Mark chapter 7, okay?
Okay.
I started at verse 14. And it's titled, What Defiles a Person? So it says, and he called the people to him again and said to them, hear me, all of you, and understand. There is nothing outside a person that by going into him can defile him. Okay? This is Jesus talking.
There is nothing outside a person that by going into him can defile him. But the things that come out of a person are what defile him. And when he had entered the house and left the people, his disciples asked him about the parable. And he said to them, Then are you also without understanding? Do you not see that whatever goes into a person from outside cannot defile him, since it enters not his heart, but his stomach, and is expelled? And then in brackets it says, Thus he declared all foods clean. And he said, What?
I don't believe it's referencing food. I believe the argument is referencing washing your hands.
The hell are you talking about? Where does
The
he even
whole
say washing your hands?
BHI argument.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Melvin said. Yeah. He's talking about eating with unwashed hands. Yeah, that was a Melvin argument because Melvin thinks that it's a sin to eat pork too. Yeah. And for a sec there, I'm like, what is this guy saying?
I was like, wait, just all food, dude. All food.
And I do my best to keep the Sabbath as well.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't think there's anything. I personally don't think I have to keep the Sabbath as a new covenant Christian, but I mean, I don't find anything wrong with it. Like if that's something that.
Do you know what's interesting? I was pondering the other day. I'm part Jewish and I'm part Native, right?
Yeah.
So either way, if either argument's right, I'm safe either way.
I guess so. And are you part Gentile too? So you got all three of them. Nice.
Yeah.
You got them all covered.
So either way, I'm safe.
I guess so. Yeah, you might as well keep the Sabbath just in case, right?
Tribe of Gad, Gentile, you know.
There's nothing wrong with keeping the Sabbath. I was thinking about it too, just demanding a day off. Like, sorry, man, it's my religion. I can't work on Saturday. Oh, wait, Sunday's the Lord's Day. I can't work on that day either. Sorry. Seriously. Yeah. Most jobs around you give the weekends off anyway, so it wouldn't be too hard to keep the Sabbath. Except up here in the oil patch, everyone wants you to work 7 on, 7 off, or 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off on rotations, right? So.
Yeah, they started that weird stuff here in New York too. They want people to work like a 4-day, 3-day week, but you have to work like 16 hours a day.
That's sweet though. That's the best. That's what cops and everything work. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You work 12-hour days and you work 4 days on, 3 days off, and then the next week you work 3 days on, 4 days off.
Yep.
And
they're trying to do that here.
Dude,
yeah.
That's like the best shift you could ever work. Hopefully they implement that. It's like that's like the money shift, bro. Every single other week you get a 4-day weekend. And you still get a full-time paycheck because you work 12-hour days instead of 8-hour days. It works out perfectly. 3 days off, 4 days on, 4 days off, 3 days on, 3 days on, 4 days off. That's like the best shift ever.
Yeah, because they save the money on the businesses save the money on the payroll. So they're not doing so much payroll, so many days. So it's the less days they have to pay for the the banks to pay you. So
where's this being implemented?
Over here in Long Island, New York.
You tell from his accent he's from New York. He's from New York, yeah? You can't tell.
New York. Come on. Definitely not New Jersey.
I wouldn't mind.
Long Island would be freaking phenomenal to visit, bro.
It's a beautiful place. Come anytime.
Dude, in New York, I could imagine, like, because YouTube, the algorithm, like the ping on the servers, so many more people would see your channel if you lived in New York. There's so many people that live there.
Yeah.
Because it works.
Honestly, it's been a dream of mine to live in New York, but I don't know how the immigration works because I'm not status Indian. My wife is, but
you better make freaking $10,000 a month just so you can pay $8,000 a month rent for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah, it is crazy, especially here in Long Island. It's terrible. We pay the same amount as if we lived in Beverly Hills, but
dude, the rent in New York City, like for some of the nice apartments in the city, like downtown in a really nice area, some places go for like $13,000 a month for a 1-bedroom, $14,000 a month.
Yeah. What? Oh yeah.
Yeah, for a 1-bedroom for like a studio apartment, dude.
And that's if you're lucky you can find them. Yeah, and you can't find them. Even if you had the money, it's so hard to find apartment in a nice midtown apartment that has obviously your amenities where you have a good view, you know, and people, because there's so many people with money where it's like, to us, it's like, oh my God, that's a dream. But to them, it's like they're fighting over it. There's a waiting list.
Dude.
It's like,
literally
what?
not unheard of to pay upwards of 15,000 a month for a nice
Oh,
apartment.
no, not at all. That's
It's like
take-
New York.
Yeah.
It's like common. 15 grand a month for a 1-bedroom apartment.
And during COVID, it was cheap.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everything dropped. Yeah. Oh, yeah. COVID hit us hard.
Well, how many people
hit everybody, right?
How many people live in New York? Like 8 million or 9 million or something?
Something like that. I think, yeah. Eight, yeah, that's right.
That's a lot of people, and like
Packed in one city.
Super busy. Like there's a lot of people there, bro.
Oh, the traffic is bananas. That's the one thing that's ridiculous. I mean, people like I was saying before, my mother-in-law lives in the Bronx, and to go out there with our car, because then you have to have a car in Long Island. But when you go to the city, you got to leave your car in here because there's fights over parking spots.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And this is a daily thing. Like I just can't believe. Like to them, it's just like every morning, everyone's fighting to get. You know, it's like that's their thing every day.
I heard though public transit in the city's like super good. You can take the train like anywhere.
Anywhere.
Oh yeah. Oh, anywhere, anytime. There's transit everywhere. That's one thing. Yeah, the subway.
It wouldn't even be worth having a car if you lived in the city. You could just hop on the
No.
subway and just boom,
Yeah,
boom, boom.
I would never own a car if I lived in the city. No way. I forget it. I don't have the patience because I see what I deal with my mother-in-law. I'm like, how do you deal with this every day?
Yeah,
and then mind you, they tow your car for the smallest things. If your tire is like an inch to the fire extinguisher, gone. So you got to deal with that.
The other
Broken
option
windows.
would probably be to pay for like a parking garage every month, but that's probably so expensive, eh?
No, actually, to tell you the truth, there's a place in the Bronx anyway. I mean, Midtown Manhattan, now you're talking, but where she lives in the Bronx, you could pay like $5. What is it? It was like $5 if it's just like you're a guest for the day or something like that. But if you actually live there as a resident, it's only like $30 a month or something. It's not too bad, but that's what they.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
But you'd probably have to park and then walk like 4 blocks to your house or something.
That's the thing. That's the thing. They have, that's. There's always something that, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why
All
I'm
right,
like, dude,
guys.
take the mass transit, man.
I think
What's
I'm gonna
Long
get going.
Island like?
Long Island's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Because you know what it is? You're in the middle of, you got the best of both worlds. You go all the way west, you have New York City. When you go all the way out east, you have the Hamptons. So, take your pick. Do you want to be like you're hanging out with Hollywood celebrities? You go to the Hamptons. Do you want to do fishing? I mean, there's fishing everywhere. We're on a Long Island. That's a whole entire area is an island. So no matter what you're into, we have it.
You know what my favorite show is? Seinfeld.
It's great. It's great. I love it.
Seinfeld's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, it's funny. I really was never into Seinfeld. I don't know why.
So funny.
I mean, all my friends were. Every single one of them. To me, I'm like, all right, bye. As soon as he put it on, I'm like, bye. If I sat down and watched the show, I'd probably like it, But
Kramer starts swimming in the East River. It's like,
yeah, he's a funny dude. I got to admit, Kramer. Oh God, that guy's a nut. Yeah,
I
he's
heard the restaurants in New York are awesome. They have like the more restaurants there than anywhere, like per capita.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the most. Let me tell you, that's why most of us can't leave. The bagels, the pizza. And you really don't really because I really never traveled. It wasn't until I went to Florida.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I walk into a place. I'm like, yeah, let me get 2 cheese pizza, 2 slices. They looked at me like I was crazy. They're like, you must be from New York. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Oh no, we don't sell slices. We sell it you got to buy the whole pie. We call pie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? What do you mean? I just want a slice. They're like, oh no, you got to buy a whole thing. And then it's funny when he calls it pie, he gives me like some small thing. I'm like, what is this? This is not pizza.
Some places out here do it by the slice, but it's not like New York where it's like everywhere.
Dude, you can get a slice of pizza still in New York City for $1.
What? Really?
I know dollar pizzerias right now. The line is like down the block. It is excellent.
What?
But you have to find the right ones. You have the guys that sell it for like $1 and they're like, but there's the guys that sell it for just 25 cents more, $1.25. And some of them even give you a soda.
Dude, that's so cheap, man. What? There's probably, if I live
and
there,
I'm telling you, if you took one bite of this pizza, not from New York, you would think that was the best pizza you ever ate in your life.
Dude, I'd weigh like 700 pounds if I lived there. If I get a slice for
No,
it's so
buddy,
hard.
pizza,
Yeah.
depending what's on the pizza, it can be the healthiest food you ever eat.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right. Pizza's like
It's got
not
all the
healthy at all.
It's got all the food groups in one single
Bleach white,
magnificent creation.
You
bleach
got to
white
leave it
flour.
overnight. That's when it's the best. You got to leave it overnight. Eat it the next day. That's when it's the most
It's like
healthy.
the worst. Adam, pizza's like the worst food you could eat. What are you talking
It is healthy. You got your vegetables, you got your dairy,
Oh,
you got your
man.
bread, right? Like just phenomenal.
Yeah. You could make it healthy, but it probably wouldn't taste that great. You could use like
And like
weird.
thin crust, man. I'm a big guy on thin crust. I love the thin crust, right?
Yeah, I like thin crust too. You get more flavor.
In Chilliwack, we got like a wood stone pizza place. So the oven's like one of those old wood stove ovens.
That's dope.
They cook the pizza in, and so you got like the thin crust with the char at the bottom. Oh,
I love
it's
that.
just
Yeah, I love that. We have that here in Long Island as well. Yeah, I love that.
Rich people have those in their houses. They just have like wood oven built right in their house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going now. It's been 2 hours. I can't sit here anymore, but it's been a great show. The three of us should get together and do a show sometime.
Absolutely.
I'm down.
Okay, well, let's plan that out sometime within the next day or two. I'll get
Definitely,
a hold of
I'm with it.
I'll get a hold of you on Facebook, Adam, and Kenny. I'll get a hold of you on Discord. Adam, are you in the Discord? You're just not online very much.
I don't even have Discord, man. I
Okay,
shut it down.
I'll get a hold of you on Facebook then, and me and Kenny and you and Kenny will plan out a topic and we'll set up a show to do within the next few days. All right.
Let's do some dark supernatural type stuff.
Okay, I'm totally down with that. Let's do some supernatural kind of stuff.
Let's do it. I'm with it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you
Yeah.
guys, everybody, for watching. May God bless over all of you. May the Heavenly Father protect all of you and keep you healthy and safe. Bless over your families. I hope all you guys are doing good and having a good time. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Please remember to give the video a like, subscribe, and share it wherever you like. And also, before I go, guys, if you haven't already, here, let me give you the link one more time to the Facebook page so you can like and follow it, and then I can throw you guys in the group. And
Nick, stay back in the studio for a second after you close out the show.
Okay. Let me drop the link here for everybody if you have not already. And anyone who's watching on Facebook is more than welcome to come over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. But I'm trying to get more watch hours for live videos on Facebook, so I'd prefer it if you just stayed on Facebook. So there's the link to Facebook. Like and follow the page, please. God bless all you guys. And make sure you come over to my channel and go to the live video section and watch Kenny's NDE as well as my NDE. They're both on there, and you guys will enjoy that. Okay, have a great night, guys. Bye.
Hey, it was nice meeting you, buddy. Adam, is he in?
You too.
Yeah, that was a good show, guys. Thank you, Kenny, so much. Had a great time with you, bro. I'd love to do it
Absolutely,
again.
like always. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it like always, man.
Oh, of course, my friend. And yeah, it's having an error occurred. Why can't we end the stream?